All right, my people, welcome back onto this channel. Well, this is another one reaching us. Still on the matter, Yoruba Nation are going back. Exactly what it is, exactly what the people are still talking about. Well, my brother, my sister, this is another strong one. Yes, talking about Mrs. Modupe Onitiri finally revealed the major reason why Mrs. Modupe Onitiri refused to forgive Professor Banji Akintoye. Yes, so and then right now a lot of things are actually going on after Omoluka visited Chief Sunday Igboho again in Kotonu. Well, my brother, my sister, if you have been following this trend very well, you understand that for Mrs. Modupe Onitiri to join this struggle, she actually, came in through someone. Meaning the Yoruba Nation struggle started a long time ago before Mrs. Modupe Onitiri joined. And then with all the informations that has reached us, it was gathered that she joined this movement through Omoluka, the same Yoruba Nation agitators. Omoluka, I know a lot of people will know that guy. Now, Omoluka introduced Mrs. Modupe Onitiri to the struggle. Professor Banji Akintoye embraced her and gave her listening ears, of which a lot of people actually appreciated that in the beginning when she joined. They were like, who is this vibrant woman? Who is this vibrant lady that joined? And then since she joined, a lot of things have been working out. Even Professor Banji Akintoye as at then respected her and encouraged her to the extent there were so many things that Professor Banji Akintoye will divert to Mrs. Modupe Onitiri in the course of this struggle. But all of a sudden, the reverse happened to be the case. And they now happen to be like something a lot of people are now regretting, that why in the first place did we allow this guy in? Omoluka was crying bitterly, not quite long, because he was the one who actually introduced Mrs. Modupe Onitiri to the struggle. He was crying that a lot of people are now pointing accusing finger at him, that he was the one that brought Mrs. Modupe Onitiri to the struggle. And then he made it clear to us, while listening to him. I think it's something that was so touching. He made it clear to us. In the first place, what did Mrs. Professor Banji Akintoye did to Mrs. Modupe Onitiri that would warrant Mrs. Modupe Onitiri to say she will never forgive Professor Banji Akintoye? To the extent, according to what Omoluka made us understand, that he cried, knelt down, begged Mrs. Modupe Onitiri, please, no matter what, forgive Professor Banji Akintoye, no matter what. Because this struggle, we must not be separated. To achieve this, we must all work together, or else, anytime there is division, then we are going nowhere. And my brother, my sister, we are not going to lie about that. Since this set of people, the leaders, had separated, the movement had been chartered. Now, what offense did Professor Banji Akintoye commit that made Mrs. Modupe Onitiri to say, lie, lie, never? She will never, 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 over a dead body, forgive Professor Banji Akintoye, which was a very strong one. Now, Omoluka made us understand right now that he begged Mrs. Modupe Onitiri that no matter what, for the sake of the Yoruba people, just try and forgive and forget. But this woman insisted, no, never, I will never forgive this man. So a lot of people are now like, this time around, we don't need a soothsayer to let us understand that Mrs. Modupe Onitiri is not working for Yoruba people, that Mrs. Modupe Onitiri is working for politicians. If not for the fact that she is working for politicians, then what she said Professor Banji Akintoye did that made her concluded that she will not, never, never over her dead body forgive Professor Banji Akintoye is so suspicious that for someone who actually have the feelings, the pains of the people at heart, will never say she will not forgive her fellow man or her fellow person, so to say, who is actually looking for ways to make sure he wipe away tears from the face of the people. So a lot of people are now like, with all the evidences they have seen against Mrs. Modupe Onitiri, that initially we thought she was actually coming to bring us together so that we can achieve Yoruba nation. But at the end of it all, it was now revealed that this woman is actually working for politicians, not for the Yoruba people. So since then, a lot of Yoruba people have been very careful about her. I have a lot of comments coming in. Like, though we have some set of people who are actually supporting Mrs. Modupe Onitiri, but majority of the comments had been that this woman should just leave Yoruba nation in shame. That it's better than she it's better that she leaves Yoruba nation in shame than to destroy the whole people. Because people are not like, this Mrs. Modupe Onitiri is a suspect. Who exactly is she working for? If the only thing Professor Banji Akintoye did to you was because he did not keep some secrets that you revealed to him, then you should forgive him. If that is just the only thing. But if not, if you are saying there is another thing, or you are still insisting that was the thing, then everybody needs to be suspicious of Mrs. Modupe Onitiri. A lot of people, coming were coming to my DM. I don't know. I think some of them are, a few people anyway. I think they are working for Mrs. Modupe Onitiri with what I saw, with everything. They were like, Pilado, what? Who paid you to talk against Mrs. Modupe Onitiri? I was shocked to hear some set of people talk about that when we already know what is going on. Now, they told us that 2022, the Ominira Ile Yoruba will come, that the Yoruba people will be elevated, they will be free. But at the end of it all, my brother, my sister, there was nothing like that. This is 2023. The same election that the good Yoruba people had rallied around to win the heart of the Yoruba people, that there will not be election in Yoruba land. The same election that they worked for, the same election actually happened at the 11th hour. Then who is deceiving who? Now Moluka was crying that a lot of people that are following Mrs. Modupe Onitiri, that they are not for Yoruba nation. That because if they are for Yoruba nation, for somebody to say she will never, never forgive Professor Banji Akintoye, even after a lot of people have begged her, for that kind of person to say no, then you should know that that person is not real, is not genuine. That the same Mrs. Modupe Onitiri that will tell you that Is Jesus Christ that is leading her to do what she's doing. And then he said the worst scenario was that they even now begged her with that same Jesus. Since Jesus is your master, they use that name to beg her. She still say no. Then you people need to wake up. That Mrs. Modupe Onitiri that you have seen is not working for the Yoruba people. And then the people that are following her, we need to run away from them. According to what is reaching us on our table, if you are following somebody that cannot imitate Christ, the Bible says we should get angry, but we should not allow the sun to set upon our anger. Then who is Mrs. Modupe Onitiri worshiping? Is it the same Jesus or someone else? And a lot of people have been worried about this. That why would Mrs. Modupe Onitiri insist she would not forgive Professor Banji Akintoye simply because Professor Banji Akintoye revealed some information to people about the same Yoruba Nation movement? Then what is that? And that's exactly what it is. If they can beg you with this same Jesus and you refuse, then who are you? What are you? That's exactly what the question is. Well, my people, what more can we say onto this? Meanwhile, let me have your own take and then remember to subscribe for more updates if you are new on this channel. All right, thanks and God bless.